this is going to be ranking every U.S. state flag from worst to best. Now, I'm sure somebody's probably already done a series like this, but I had a lot of you guys ask if I would, so I figured I'd make it happen. My number one criteria is just the overall look of the flag, but I'm also considering the symbolism and how well it represents the state. Also, Mississippi currently does not have a state flag. They're actually getting a new one this week, but they missed the cutoff for this series, so they won't be in here. It'll just be a top 49. Number 49, a very easy choice, Alabama. This is incredibly unoriginal. Looks like it took absolutely no thought and honestly could have been designed by a preschooler. This was a no-brainer to be last place. Number 48 is Nevada. I don't really like this one because it looks like they didn't have time to finish it. It's like they put the seal in the left-hand corner and then they ran out of time on everything else, so they had to leave it at that. 47th is Tennessee. Now, it has some symbolism with the 3 stars, but what I hate about this one is the blue stripe on the right side is so out of place. It would make so much more sense if it were on the left side where the flag's connected to the pole. 46, Rhode Island. This yellow trim is not on every flag, but the ones that do have it look so dumb because it's only on 3 sides. 45th is Alaska. Now, I understand that there are tons of absolutely beautiful sights in the skies of this state, but come on now. Putting the Big Dipper and the North Star on your state flag was the best you could do. 44th is Hawaii. Now, the 8 stripes do represent the 8 different islands, so that's really cool. But, aren't you an American state? Why do you have the flag of the United Kingdom if you're in America? 43 is Connecticut. I'm going to be short and sweet with this one. It just looks pretty messy to me. These are supposed to be grapevines, but it took me a while to figure that out. Not a fan of this one. 42 is Michigan. Now, this one has a ton of words on it, and not a single one of them are in English. But there are a lot of flags like that, so I guess I could kind of accept that. But what I can't accept is this word right there looks a whole lot like circumcise. Why in the world would you want that to be the centerpiece of your flag? 41 is Louisiana. Now, I know the pelican is their state bird, but is a pelican feeding its young really what you want to represent your state? Number 40 is Virginia. Now, at first I didn't think this one was too bad, but then I took a closer look at it. Why is the centerpiece of your flag a murder and the guy's proud of it, standing over top of the guy he just killed? Is this what you want to represent your state and what you want people to think of when they see your state flag? 39th is Delaware. The color scheme of this one is awful. Both of the main colors they used are hideous. The font they used on the bottom is also terrible. So between all of that, it's just impossible for me to even care what's in the middle because of how bad the rest of it looks. 38th is Massachusetts. Now, having an all-white background is pretty boring, but I could get over that. But what I can't get over is the fact that you have to squint and zoom in to even see this guy in the middle as well as the words around him, so I don't like this one. 37, Nebraska. Now, there's a ton going on with this seal in the middle, but because of the terribly planned color scheme, I can't tell you what any of it is. Also, it says Great Seal. Yeah, that's a lie. 36, Minnesota. Honestly, it looks pretty, but there's just way too much going on. 35th is Florida. We are still in the bad category. They look like they just copied Alabama's flag and threw their seal on it so it didn't look the exact same. Not very creative and pretty dumb to have an X across your flag. 34th is New Jersey. Now, my first problem with this one is that they used an absolutely hideous shade of yellow for the primary color of the flag. And my second problem with this one is why does the woman on the left here have a stick with a Santa hat on top of it? 33rd is New York. Now, this one is terrible because it looks like it was drawn by a 7-year-old, especially these 2 women. But my main issue is the woman on the right. Why is she wearing a headband and why is she holding a scale? And also, the sun in this middle logo has a smiley face. Is this drawn by a preschooler? 32 is Oregon. Now, this center design is very nice, and they also have a beaver on the back, which looks good, but I hate the state of Oregon up there at the top. That looks awful. 31, Wisconsin. Same thing. Nice center design, dumb-looking word on top. 30th, we've got Kentucky, and purely just for the font that they have on top of the seal. First of all, it's just way too tightly put together. It's hard to tell what that says. And second off, why in the world is the word Commonwealth in there? You don't need all that. Just put Kentucky. 29th is New Hampshire. Now, this is a very nice seal, and I like the design that they have around it. However, take a close look at this picture here. Where is that boat? The boat is on land. Boats are supposed to be in the sea. What are you doing? 28th is South Dakota. First of all, it just seems a little bit excessive to me to have the Mount Rushmore state so big on the bottom of the flag. And the second issue I have with this one is it just looks like it should be a sunflower seed company's flag, not a state. 27th, Washington. This one's so dumb, but I just think it's hilarious, so that's why it made it this far. They just stuck George Washington on the flag, so it's pretty obvious whose state this represents. 26, Missouri. No originality here. They just stole the Netherlands flag and threw their state seal in the middle to make it their own. 25th is Iowa. Now, I understand the state has some French roots, so it makes sense that they use this scheme, but it just looks way too much like France's flag. And also, I do like the eagle on this one, just not too creative, so that's why this state wasn't higher. 24th is Utah. Again, we have the eagle, so if you're noticing, there's a little bit of a theme in this video. Now, like I said, I do like the concept of the eagle, so that's why these made it this far. I just don't think it's as creative as some of these states, so that's why these aren't any higher. 23, North Dakota. Again, we've got another one with an eagle as the centerpiece of the flag. This one just beat out Utah because I like the way this eagle looks a little bit better. 22, Illinois. Now, this one is boosted above the other two because it's a white background and most state flags have a dark blue tint to it. So I like that they were a little bit unique, so that's why they were higher than the others. 21, Indiana. Now, I'm not a huge fan of the overall look of this one, but it's so much more creative and unique than a lot of these states that just stuck their seal on the center. Now, this next portion of the rankings is just going to feature a bunch of states that basically just threw their seal on the center of the flag. 20th is West Virginia. I like this seal, but it is a little bit small in proportion to the rest of the flag, but I do like the Christmas feel that it has around the outside of the seal. 19th is Idaho. Now, I like this one because it's multicolored and pretty bright, but what I don't really like about this one is that there's a lot going on in the seal, so it's kind of hard to tell what exactly it is, especially if it's on a flag from far away. 18th is Montana. The seal has some really pretty scenery, and it does fit the state well. The only reason this one wasn't higher is because I don't like the way the font of Montana looks on the top of the flag. 17th is Pennsylvania. This one made it further than the others just because it has a little bit more than just their state seal. You know, they added the horses and the little banner on the bottom. I like this one, but nothing super special about it. 16th is Maine. I like this one because it's got a lot of great elements that really represent their state well, and the font and the little design on the bottom saying the word Maine is pretty nice too. 15th is Georgia. Now, I really like that this one's super similar to the American flag, but still different enough to where it doesn't look exactly the same. And they also have their state seal up in the left corner, so it really represents the state well. I like this one a lot. 14th is Arkansas. Now, this one is a lot more unique than most of these flags we've seen so far, so that's why it was top 15. And I also like the different tributes that they have to various things in the state's history with all the different stars on the flag. 13th is Kansas. Now, obviously, the concept of this one is very basic since they just threw the state seal on the center, and I punished most of the ones that were like that, but I love their state seal. It's just beautiful. It looks amazing and represents the state really well, so that's why it was this far. 12th is Vermont, another one with a simple concept, but again, I think the scenery in this one is super pretty, and it really represents the state very well, so that's why it was this high. 11th is New Mexico, a very distinct and recognizable look, so that's why it was around for this long. Just not a whole lot of creativity, so that's why it wasn't top 10. 10th place is North Carolina. Made it this far because it's got a little bit different layout than most of the ones we've seen. You know, got the blue on the left side and the red and white on the right side. I also like the fact that they have two very important dates to their state's history, so it works out well to represent the state. This one's nice. 9th place is Colorado. The colors in this one represent all kinds of different things in their state. The blue represents the skies, the white represents the snowy mountains, the gold and red represent the sun and earth in the state. So this one really represents the state well. Also kind of got a makeshift C right there with the red, so I like this one. 8th place is Wyoming. Obviously got the bison as the centerpiece of the flag, which represents their state well. Also got the state seal and some patriotic flair with the red, white, and blue color scheme. 7th is Oklahoma. This one really speaks for itself. It pays great tribute to the state's Native American culture. I like that they used a light blue background instead of a dark blue like most states, and this center logo is absolutely phenomenal. 6th is Texas. Not a ton going on here and not much creativity, but this is easily one of the most iconic and recognizable flags in the country. 5th place is South Carolina. I love this one. It's got a really clean look. It's got a unique design to it by having the palm tree in the center and then the moon in the upper left-hand corner. This one really represents the state well. 4th place is California. This is easily one of the most iconic flags in the country, and I personally really like it just because it's got a lot more color to it than most of these other flags do. Also got some good tributes to the state with the star as well as the bear in the center. Number 3 is Ohio. Now, having the red, white, and blue color scheme as well as the stars and stripes makes it very similar to a lot of other flags, but what really set this one apart was the unique shape. It's not a rectangle, which makes it the only flag in the entire country that isn't. 2nd is Arizona. Now, the color scheme gives it some Spanish flair, which is a great tribute to their state, but for me, man, this one is just sick. I love the way it looks, so it had to be top 2. And the best state flag in the country is Maryland. It's easily the most unique design of all the flags. It has great meaning to the state, and it looks amazing.